Hello, friends. Welcome. It is time for the update. It is the end of day 4. It's actually the next day. Spoiler alert. I'm now looking back at the games. Day 4, we went 4-1. Very good. So our total record is now 9-8, 53% win rate. So more or less even. Let's be honest. But this is pretty good because we had a little bit of a rough start. We started a bit negative, and I was telling you guys, I kind of feel like um, the downward feeling a bit because we were down 2 games. But this definitely helped to catch us back up. It feels good. Feels good to be going positive again. Don't want to get too hyped, because at the end of the day, really, it's still roughly 50% win rate. But I think we have learned some lessons. So some of the things from these days that we already highlighted in the last video. And yesterday's games, I feel like what I was doing really well was I did the same build a couple times where I was playing with a Windlace and a Quelling Blade. And I think that worked out pretty well because I was always against a lot of melee heroes as a ranged hero. And I was already a big fan of the Quelling Blade before, but I think it's a little easier to buy now because of the Tango change. So before you had to buy 2 sets of Tangos, which was 90 each, so 180 gold. And now you don't have to do that because you don't have to share Tangos, so 1 set is good enough to start. And this game, I thought I was going to be against Tiny Clockwork. It ended up being Puck Clockwork, and the Quelling Blade didn't pay off quite as much. But then the next game, again, double melee, Legion Commander Tusk, and the Windlace Quelling Blade ended up doing a good amount of work. Now that you have your own courier as well, it's been a while since it's been that case, but it feels like you can go a little greedier on some of these starting items and then buy more regen later. And as long as you have like 1 set of Tangos, maybe a Salve, maybe a Mango, like that's enough regen to get you through the first minute. And then at that point, the courier could bring more stuff over. So I like that build, kind of going back to the roots of getting Quelling Blades again. But it was working out, so I'll probably try it again. But it was also just more about laning in general, where when it didn't look like it'd do much, I was getting denies in lane. I was harassing a bit better. I was being more, I don't even know if active is the right word, but I was participating in the lane more rather than doing so many pulls. And I feel like half pulling got me from 5k to 6k, but now that I'm reaching this level where I think I'm now getting punished for what worked before, where half pulling requires you to be out of the lane a lot, but it does establish this big lead if you're allowed to get away with it. But now, while I leave the lane so much, my carry's just getting beaten up. I'm getting punished for it. The 4 comes over, and maybe I get the half pull off, but they block the stack, and now it kind of sucks. So now I am starting to appreciate the value of a full pull more at 117, just because it means I can do it and ditch it. Maybe I stay, get last hits and stuff, but if I have to, I can leave it, the whole camp dies, and then I don't have to think about it. And if it respawns at 2 minutes, great, we can use it again. If not, whatever. But I do the pull, and I'm immediately back in the lane, participating and being active. And I think that was something that was holding me back, was just being too passive overall. And I think it's been working out so far. Now, to be honest, we were actually going to stop at 3-1. And on stream, we started to do the Overwatch cases. And then we got raided by Insania. And I don't mean to like name drop or anything. He doesn't even know who I am. The chat recommended me to him, which was great. Thanks, guys. If you're watching the video, I appreciate it a ton. But that was super exciting. And I got flustered. I got super fanned. Wow, watching Enigma die cheered her up. What the hell? Insania's raiding our channel. Big fan, Insania. Thank you for raiding the channel. I like your voice line. It's the best one. I want to freak out, guys, but I don't want to be like a super tryhard fan, but I kind of am. But anyways, after feeling a ton of energy, and now we had an audience, and we had to entertain the guests, of course. So we did one more game, which I really expected to lose. I think I was like too excited, but it worked out. We managed to win. Didn't get too overly excited, I suppose, but had a lot of energy because I was feeling tired before that, but then I had tons of energy after that. So we did manage to win that game, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, I think this is a good formula going forward. I think my laning stage has been fixed a bit more than what it was, and we're going to adjust how I do pulls. Just to be clear, I still think a lot of you guys can do half pulls and get away with it, like the half pull into the stack, into like repeated full pulls. Just because that did work for me, and like it makes sense why it worked. I just didn't get punished for it, and I punished them heavily for letting me do it. But now I can't do it anymore. But I think a lot of you guys still can, so I don't want you to get confused and say, oh, he says half pulling is bad now. No, I still think it has its place, and I will still try to do it when, say, the 4 position goes to roam and isn't in my lane, things like that, and I can get away with it. But right now, I'm going to try not doing it and see how that feels a bit. And maybe I'll have something updated to tell you guys later. So that's it for day 4. I'm not even going to play today. I should mention that too. I was going to play a couple more days today. It's a Sunday right now. Maybe just 1 or 2 off stream. But I'm kind of not feeling it. I'm at that point where, we've been spamming Snapfire Jakiro for a little bit here. And I'm still ready to keep going with that. But I am starting to get that feeling. Like here, I was like, oh yeah, Snapfire Jakiro, 60 games, easy. And now it's like, man, it'd be kind of fun to play Bounty Hunter in position 4 or something like that. And it's around that time where I think it's a great idea to do an unranked game, do some party games, get that that urge out of the way, like playing these other roles, and then come back to your tryharding like the same path. Because I already explained to you guys in the last few minutes and then the videos before, like this is everything I'm doing to improve as a position 5. And then I'm just going to ditch it to go play a completely different role, completely different game plan. No, that's not how I want to approach it. So if I do want to play other fun stuff, I should do it in unranked just a little bit to get the, the kick out of the way. And then let's return Snapfire Jakiro. Let's keep following the game plan that we've started to figure out. We fixed some of these mistakes, and now we're going to use that to hopefully keep winning games. Hopefully that's the continued update for you guys in a bit. But today, I don't feel like it. So if you want to do unranked, all that's fine. But I'm just going to play some other games and have fun with that so that, I'll do that, and then I'll be ready to come back to Dota. A little Dota break here and there, I think, is fine. Too long of a break, maybe you do get rusty again, you forget the lessons you've learned. But I think 1 day here and there, totally fine. And I think it's actually good for the tryharding, because to me, if I keep doing the same thing, I burn out a little bit, depending how I'm feeling. So I just want to be aware of that. I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to go play some other games right now. It's a little cold today, so we're going to use the heater. It's got 2 temperature settings, high and oscillate. It's time for the day 5 recap. Uh-oh, Alina game? No, don't worry. It was party unranked. We're all good, guys. We've only been playing Snapfire and a Jakiro when it's banned. So we went 2 and 3 in ranked games yesterday. That's okay for the day. It does mean our total record is currently 11 and 11, which is 50%. So this is where it starts to feel like a little more frustrating, where it's like, all right, 22 games, haven't really progressed anywhere quite yet. But still, I don't know if I'm telling myself to feel better or like genuinely telling you guys. I think I'm genuinely saying it, that over the course of like these videos, I hope it shows like we are learning things as we go. The issue is other players trying to win MMR are also learning things. And so that's why we're stagnating in MMR. Because the people I'm playing against are also trying to win MMR, and they're improving in small ways as they go too. So we're going to have to start stepping it up and trying to learn a little faster and implement some of this stuff. Now, to be fair, I think we were doing that, but I have a couple deserved losses here. So this one, I raged at. I'm just kidding, guys. I ended up in a game with a bunch of Divines, and to be honest, I didn't take it seriously enough. I was feeling way overconfident. I was still position 5, and I goofed. I got a Daedalus. I actually think Daedalus can be legit on Snapfire. Having tried it out and seen the damage you can do, there are games where I think you need to kill someone and you can go for it. But this game, there's a Tinker. Grandmaster Tinker, no less. And I should have prioritized him more. And my build should reflect that. It should be something like Blink Shard or a BKB, Lotus Orb to protect a core. Whatever it ends up being is more what I need. I kind of tilted out my Bloodseeker with this build. To be fair, I don't blame him. But, okay guys, cut me some slack. Look at this graph. When I started to get Daedalus, and I asked chat, I was like, are we throwing or are we having fun? We were winning. I thought we were good. But then we kind of threw it. Now, there are other things that threw our game more than just the Daedalus. Some team play issues. and getting picked off by Tinker a bunch, not picking him off. I think he died once or not at all this game. One time, and that was pretty early. So Tinker managed to get a bunch of solo kills on people, and that kind of lost us the game over 80 minutes. So I'm not gonna get too upset about this one. I deserved it. If we were tryharding genuinely, I wouldn't have gotten the Daedalus. This was, I wasn't taking it seriously enough because people were lower ranked than me, and we've been tryharding for like 20 games at this point. So it was like, oh, let's do a bit of fun, which for your own mentality is good, I think, to have a bit of fun, to relax a bit, something goofy a bit like the Daedalus. But for the MMR, maybe not so much, and that's why I do recommend you guys try like unranked games when you start feeling it, which is what this Lena game was. But maybe I needed the Lena game a little sooner so that I wouldn't have gotten Daedalus. Then the second loss, it was just the worst lane I played in a long time. I just did very poorly. So that happens. Sometimes you just play a lot worse, and we're not going to sweat it too much. Besides, I already went over it on stream and talked about like how I should have done better and things. So I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, that's our current win rate. Now, something that came up in the stream, and we talked about it, was like, so far in Snapfire, I think let me pull it up. So my record with Snapfire right now is 4-7, which is not the best, 36% win rate. So far, we've pretty much been blindly going, well, it wasn't blindly. It was intentionally going for the E build, Lil Shredder plus Blightstone, and just getting it in a lot of matchups where it's like, is this good? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I think the conclusion is that it's not good in certain matchups. So I will try to go the usual Scatterblast cookie build a little bit more if I'm against some like high armor targets, if I don't think the Little Shredder build's going to pay off. I think we're at that point. Now, some people were suggesting, should we play someone besides Snapfire? Maybe. Because my Jakiro win rate is 7-3. So arguably, if we get playing Jakiro, we'd be doing a lot better. But I did it with Jakiro before, and I want to learn a new hero. And I often tell you guys that it doesn't matter who you pick so much as, like, learning that hero and playing him well. And I kind of want to be able to back that up with Snapfire. Besides, Snapfire is pretty meta right now. If you look at the statistics on who's picking her up in the DPC, she's one of the most popular heroes. Her win rate is a little mixed depending on the region. I wouldn't say she's super broken right now, but I think she's good. So, like, of every hero I could pick, I'm not picking someone like totally out of the meta. She is pretty common. Maybe a little better as a 4, at least for the Little Shredder build. But I think as a 5, like, she's still seeing a lot of picks, and the Little Shredder build is still somewhat common. But we will shift away from the Little Shredder build a little bit, especially when I don't think it's good. And I think hopefully that'll help us adjust our own matchups a bit. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for this one. It is now day 8. That's not me forgetting what day it is. I just skipped updating this video for a couple times. So since the last one, I have gone 2-1, 1-1, and then 4-1, and then this unranked game that didn't really matter. Well, actually, it kind of did matter, but let's start the first couple days. So I think I played these off stream. Think I was doing fine, but all the games were really toxic. So even though I was still feeling fine to play, and I was on a positive. I had like 2-1, so I'm up 1 game. I could have played again, but like every game was toxic, and I was just like, I was not feeling it. And I think that's a fine place to stop it, right? We'll take the 1 game, we're up, leave it at that. Next day, this was on stream. I was feeling a bit tired, 1-1, and I decided, you know what? Let's just take it. Even day. We'll take the lessons we learned from those games and move on. And then today's stream went pretty well. We went 3-1. I was thinking about stopping at 3-0, but we had a lot of people, so we're like, what the heck? And then I still said, what the heck? We played another game after that. And that's why I'm glad I did an unranked game for the last one to like, okay, you know what? I am tired at this point. Let's take 3 wins, and let's call it there. Let's do an unranked game. And of course, the enemy abandoned, and so it was a very short one. So the actual lessons I learned here, I mean, we could talk about them, but really, I think it's more of the lessons I learned back here that we've already updated. I think these wins tended to reflect what I have talked about already. I think I'm laning a little better. My pulls are a bit better. I am getting better at Snapfire. We're missing less hits. I did try going a couple QW builds instead of just always Lil Shredder, and those games did work out. So yeah, I don't think I have like new lessons to show you guys exactly. I think these games are reflecting the lessons we've already talked about. But what I do want to talk about is the mental aspect of these games, because my record is now 18-14, so we're up 4 games, and this is kind of, it could be nothing. Let's be honest. You can swing 100 MMR either way, and it's not usually a huge deal. That's like pretty normal. So maybe this is just maybe this is just a few games that are looking good, and now I'm about to lose a bunch, and then that would suggest that I haven't really progressed, and that feels bad. Except that I know I've improved. I know I am better at Snapfire. I know I've become better at Dota, but the MMR does not reflect it, and that's why I usually suggest just playing the game for fun, but also to improve yourself and to have your own milestones. And in my mind, my own milestones, I am improving, and so I'm happy, even though the MMR is kind of staying the same. But because of this series, I'm kind of putting a lot of stock into MMR, and if it doesn't go up, it's like, what were these 60 games for? What were these like 100 games for? My MMR's gone nowhere. And that's why I don't usually recommend focusing so much on MMR, because I think, funny enough, that negative feeling of like my MMR's not going anywhere, I think that makes you play worse. And like even this small upswing of 4 games, now I'm suddenly like, oh, I put so much pressure on myself for MMR, now I feel good. Even though realistically I know like 4 games is not that much. So I think it's funny. I think it's funny when you spend a lot of focus on MMR instead of just like your own milestones of improvement. But I know, myself included, we all like to have MMR, so I still think that pressure is real and is something we all have to face, and it's certainly something I'm aware of. Which brings me back to the point I was going to say. 4 games is around the point where, is this me improving and getting MMR, or is it like random chance? Because like 1 game, 2 games, up or down, very normal. 3 games, like 3 to 4 games, still very normal. My own rule, though, I try to stop playing after 2 losses. 3 losses, net losses. So if you're like 2-2, you could keep playing if you want. But if I'm like down 2 games worth of MMR, I'll stop for that day. 3 for sure. 2 if I'm responsible, 3 for sure. So being up 4 games means that I have this little buffer where even if I lose 3 games in a day, I can still say, well, at least I'm up 1 game from the very beginning, you know? So that's some progress. And I think there's like safety in that buffer for your mental health if you're like really emotionally attached to your MMR, as I kind of have put myself in that position. But 4 games is also like, okay, like we could easily lose this in 1 bad day. So the next couple days I play, tomorrow's stream, I guess, if I can keep winning games, then that suggests to me I have improved. All the lessons we talked about from all these previous games, like, I am implementing them. I am improving. We're starting to win more games. My MMR is going up. And so I do want to try to play my best in those next couple days, because I know emotionally it'll hit me worse than usual. Losing a couple games here, it sounds so silly. It sounds so silly talking about like 4 wins here and there, but like, I think this is the mental attitude of, for me, gaining MMR or losing MMR, like I know I will feel it if I lose this MMR. And so I do really want to try my best the next set of games, because as I go, okay, I'm now up 5 games, I am up 6 games, I'm up 7 games, like that really starts to feel progress, and that really starts to feel doable. Whereas before we were like, I don't know, 20 plus games just like going nowhere. And that sounds a little conceited, because I know a lot of people spend like hundreds to thousands of games floating around the same level. So whatever your marker is, I think when you stagnate is when it feels bad. And so like this climb is when this is the potential start of the climb, like the true climb in MMR, not just like my own marks of improvement, like actual MMR going up, or it's nothing, and that would be disappointing. So Let's find out what happens in the next episode. Great spot for a cliffhanger. Thanks for watching, guys. And hopefully this is the climb to MMR, because, boy, I think some of you guys are tired of seeing me play Snapfire on stream. Bye.